You speak as though I have conquered death. I live death every day. I am surrounded by it, smothered by it. Look at you now. He would have everlasting life. You seek to defy death, yet you cannot even defy sleep. And our like sleep is to death. It is a painted death.
You think you are free, that your decisions are your own. Tell me honestly, did you really choose this path? Or was it chosen for you? Your father, with every triumph, every failure, was it not his decisions that brought you here? Has his path not sealed your own? Marked out in golden bricks below your very feet. The path is set. Keep your head up. Keep your weapon loaded. Follow the battle brick road.
I remember childhood without any friends. Just me and my imagination. So I made up my own friend. Crim's my best bud. I don't know what I'd do without him. But there's some things we should keep locked away. Not the imaginary friends, but the imaginary fiends. Crim, where are you?
there is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself, think, oh my God, just think of this world, just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And you know, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every conceivable opportunity so you can current day us. Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Pronouns! Gender ambiguity! Current day Californian! Because that's all we know! Because we're so boring!
What is up, all of you fantastic early birds? Yes, I am streaming again. So, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and I was talking about this, and I said, you know, they talk about, shoot, I can't even think of the quote, because it's not been a lot of hours of sleep, but don't let perfection be, you know, the enemy of, I don't know, necessity or getting things done. You know the quote. Someone in the chat will help me with this. And I'm big on just trying to discipline myself and get into a routine and make things happen. And I just said, when I get a second, you know, and I'm just going, should I stream? Should I do this? I go, I'm just going to stream. Just going to get back into a groove. And I started out, you know, streaming. Go to sleep. I know, Sean. Thanks. I want to get to you guys in the chat in a second. But yeah, so I said to myself, if I'm there and I'm you know, if the inclination strikes me, I'm not going to think about the time. I'm not going to think about what's going on. I'm just going to go and stream when I'm at my desk, because when I first started doing this and 4 years ago on YouTube and didn't know what I was doing, and I was doing it to promote my art books and things like that, there was no idea of where it was going to go. There was none of that stuff. It's really just getting in the habit. It's really practicing and staying focused on this stuff. And, or not even focused, I would say, just, it's the repetition, it's the behavior. And I was like, I've got to get after this stuff. You know, like, I just want to do it because I want to be streaming more. And it's just a question of, you know, what is it, that line from Lawrence of Arabia? Aqaba is over there. It's simply a matter of going there. That's really what it comes down to for me. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff coming up. We'll be talking about a lot of this, but let me see who's in the chat. First and foremost, of course, we've got Stephen Rockwood Drawing, first channel member, my brother. It's great to see you again. How could I stay away? Timmy Mello, man, dude, always puts a smile on my face. OG channel member, you guys are the best. Actually got a lot of OG in here, man. American Comics Company, you're always in good company when American Comics Company's in the house. I wonder how long I've been saying that. Has it been years yet? We have to, I'd love to know. And of course, another OG, big supporter, Lloyd Burton in the house. It is great to see you, my channel member. I bow to you, my friend. It is great to see you. Man, I tell you what, it's great to be, oh my gosh, speaking of OG, Scottsley, it's great to see you. Howdy to you, man. Yeah, when building a routine, change won't happen until you grab it by the throat and force it to happen. Work that death grip, brother. That's what it's about, guys. That is what it's about. And so I got this, you know, I've got all these different setups going. And sometimes I think that for me anyway, it works best when I can kind of get things set up and then I can get into a groove. And for a while, you know, you're kind of doing things and you don't have, you know, even, let me move the camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. You don't have oftentimes a minute to plan. Sorry, it's about getting the angle right so it's not casting a shadow, which is always tricky. And but sometimes it's about, just trying to get, you spend so much time just getting used to YouTube and figuring out what the software can do that you don't really have a plan particularly going, and you're just trying to market and do whatever you can do. And I think once you get into a little bit of a groove, it's time to kind of sit back and enjoy it a little bit and just stream without thinking you have to reinvent the wheel every 5 minutes. Do you know what I'm saying? Cranberry Langers, another channel member in the house. It is great to see you. Hey, what? Hello, Shanth. And chat. That's right, and chat. I know what you meant. And this is the thing about it. I like talking about monsters with you guys. I like hanging out. I like streaming. I like painting. And I'm really glad you guys are here. Oh, that's what I should do. I'll just turn that a little bit. And then, then I won't have my hand in the way. So I was streaming last night, and I think I went to bed at 5:30 in the morning or something like that. So I got up this morning at about 10 or so, and just kind of took care of a couple of things, and then said, all right, it's time to go stream. You're gonna go paint, go stream. And it's one of those things. I love this time of year. I love hanging out with you guys. We've got 14 people watching. Holy cow. It's great to see you guys. I hope you're all doing well this fine morning. Well, I was trying to do the accent. And yeah, that's right. I know what you mean, man. I'm sorry. I messed that up then. Just listening as I clean the garage. Hail. And that's doing good work right there, Past Master Dan. You know it. Yeah, we actually did I've got to clean my studio. If I pan the camera around, guys, it's just trash. There's so much in here because I rearranged a bunch of stuff, and then I was, doing some more scanning. And the thing for me about it is, I got to get my desk moved over a bit here. There we go, because it's messing up the way my hands lined up. But it's one of those things to where it's so necessary to take the time to clean and straighten things up, because it does affect the way that you feel and operate inside of your space. But I was working on a character last night and thinking about where Nosfero is going. I was working on Spring Ball last night and a little bit this morning. And so I've got a lot of things on my plate, but YouTube and streaming is as much a part of Shanth Enjeti art and what I'm doing here as anything else. And that's been one of the coolest things in the world, is to have you guys here to be able to talk about this stuff. I love it, man. Yeah, workflow. What it's all about, getting that workflow. What is up, new channel member, Mark's Music Obsession? It is great to see you, brother. How are you doing? Missed last night's stream, but at least I can get this one. Guys, I'm going to try to do this and be doing this as much as I can so it works out for all of you guys with different schedules, because, that's what makes this fun, man. That's what makes all of this stuff fun. What's up, Richie Cyberdupe? It is good to see you, my friend. Hail, Black Bancroft. Absolutely. Hail, chat. I'm more like Mocha Bancroft, I think. Hail Comicsgate and Bananas. Loving Bananas to you, my friend. It's so great to see you guys. We got John in the house. Yeah, hang out for a bit, man. Stay a while. Like, this party don't stop because it keeps on going. I was talking with my wife about that Key and Peele skit, and I said, wow, they perfectly encapsulated an introvert's nightmare with that. So yesterday I was watching and studying the history of the Golem, and I watched the was it 1911? Or maybe it was 1912, but if it was 1911, that was a good year for a pistol. And so I was watching it, and I'm thinking about, doing a Golem-like character for an upcoming Nosfero story. I was working on the character design, and I was living inside of that myth and lore, and so what's been kind of interesting and fun to me, and the great opportunity of being in Comicsgate, is that we are free to imagine as much as we can for you guys and put it out there, and again, always see what sticks. And yesterday's painting stream, not the late night at the Waffle Lodge stream, I talked a little bit with people about the importance of story and how important story is to them, and I was kicking myself when I ended that stream, because I thought of it right as I clicked end stream, that I never asked in return to people who were talking about the stories that they love. With 17 people in here, make sure you hit that like, guys. Let's move this thing. Let's move that like. Smash it into oblivion. But I thought I didn't ask what were the stories that people think of as their favorite stories in comics and their favorite stories in culture, because there's so much that you can learn about people when you hear what is the story you liked. Maybe it's a Claremont run on X-Men. You know, maybe it's an X-Men run. Maybe it's a book like Shadow 1941 or The Killing Joke. I mean, what that book is, or The Rocketeer, whatever that book is, always tells you a lot about what people are passionate about and love it. I just thought, oh man, I should have asked Jim Cox that. I should have asked so many of you guys that. So yeah. Let me see. I read Captain America was originally made as a Gollum-type character, hence the A or the Aleph written on his forehead. That is fantastic. That's one of the things I was discussing with a buddy of mine about how, you know, yeah, the writing and that use of bringing something to life with writing is such a cool thing. So I want to make cool stories, cool creatures. That's what I'm in this space to do, and that's what I intend to do. And SHANTH ENJETI art and everything I'm doing here is really starting to come together. As I think I've mentioned before, we're sort of at the end of at the beginning, and we're kind of that this is sort of before you get to that middle phase. So I've got one book that I want to ship out. I've got a campaign that I want to launch as soon as I'm getting that book shipped out, and it's getting to you guys. And then it's, seeing and getting to talk about what the actual story is in detail because I'm telling you what, once we have shipped all of those books, the gloves are coming off in terms of spoilers. Because, and at least in terms of my process of writing it, that's what I really want to talk about, Sean, the word of advice with the streams, try to have a long lead time to allow people to adjust their schedules if necessary. Absolutely, I will. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get into a groove, but yeah, right now, it's just about getting into the exercise. It's like going to the gym. If I try to have a that's something my wife sees this, she'll be laughing. If I get into if I sort of try to find that time, I can find a reason not to do it. So right now I'm just kind of kicking my butt, but it is understood, John, 100%. So here we go. Cranberry Langers, Batman R.I.P. Final Crisis 90s Spider-Man run, the other Daredevil Volume 1, Mark Waid, I believe, Thor run by J. Michael Straczynski, Extremis Iron Man, which I love that book. I have that graphic novel. It's fantastic. What's up, Marcus? How are you doing? It's great to see you this fine morning, man. It's great to see all of you guys. Holy cow, I didn't know if anybody would even show up. God bless you guys. But I've been studying a lot of the horror stuff I like, the monsters, the movie, the culture, and I'm hoping that we can do more stuff as, I would say definitely in the, we're calling it the Iron Age, but I've been thinking a lot about, American culture, because I think the Iron Age is American culture and American pop culture. Not corporate culture, but the culture of people who have always been passionate about this stuff. The people who love this stuff. Yeah, schedules are wise. Amen. Well, I mean, and listen, John, here's the problem. What does that say about me? I don't know. I may be lacking in the wisdom, dude. I'm telling you. It's been, I don't even know how to describe it sometimes. I just am one of those, I'm like Charlie Sheen, I've got one speed, one gear, go. Yeah, man. My wife is always telling me about that. My long-suffering wife is always telling me, get on a schedule. She bought me a calendar early on in our relationship, a desk calendar to organize things. And now, granted, I do use a calendar and I do organize things. Let me be very clear. But back in that day, I was just, oh my God, she laughs about it. I was so completely just burning the candle at both ends, as I often do. And, man, this is going to be a fun sketch. I'm really excited about how this is coming out. Oh, yeah, man, it's, but I got to tell you, we got to do better, man. We got to, like, artists, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You're 100% right. But, it's like, how do I word this? I look at, because, I think about plumbers and electricians and people who have, you know, their regular stuff they do and the things they get called to do. You know, they're on call kind of. And YouTube is kind of my on call, and this is my schedule, if this makes sense, like my painting schedule. And if there's one thing that I've been, that makes this a little bit tricky, is depending on what the day is and depending on when I'm able to have the time to get into that groove, I can sort of, it can be hard to get myself like on a stream. I think if I was streaming and not painting and talking at the same time, I might be able to do it, but it's like, yeah, I'm working on it still. Yeah, amen. Schedules help prevent heart issues, diabetes, early death. You're so right, man. Schedules are better for your memory, mental health, and physical health, 100%. Well, I was telling somebody that it's like, that the biggest thing that I've been working on lately is scheduling out things like, you know, yeah, absolutely. Yep, I worry about these artists and their horrible sleep. Sleep hygiene, regular sleep patterns. Like I say, sleep hygiene. I try to take care of myself. I don't want Eric July to get in my face and get mad at me about this, you know, because it could happen. But no, guys, listen. It's people. Let's step back from this for just 1 second, just to have a little chuckle here. And it's not like we're doing this, you know, hidden away. People go, "What's Comicsgate about?" You got people in the space who are kind of like, "Hey, man, you need to get some sleep. I'm worried about you." Like, there's so much. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, people in this space are exactly how I remembered it being as a comic book fan, which is, and you know, as, you know, going to comic shops before I, you know, things got crazy busy. Now when I go to comic shops, it's to pick up back issues sometimes, or, you know, now everything's getting more and more available in bookstores. But, yeah, I just remember that it's everybody in here is, you know, always trying to help people out, and you know, there's people everywhere who don't want to help people out. I mean, I think that goes without saying. Anybody who's been wasn't born yesterday, as we used to say back in the day. But I think what's the difference is what's not there. You know, what's present and what people have in common is not always the way to define things. And I think I try to define what we're doing here and in this space in light of the things that are unique to this space. You know, I mean, I remember before Fandom Menace, Comicsgate, and all this stuff actually had sort of coalesced, that there was nowhere to go. You know, there was nowhere to go. Yeah, Comicsgate is about love, whether it's a love of literature, love of art, love of creators themselves. It's all just love. Amen, man. I believe in that. Yeah, it's a health group. It's turning into one. Good sleep does not equal great art. Glory comes from sleep deprived, it seems. I will say this, and it's so funny you mentioned that, but there is this aspect to, yeah, and hats, of course. We've always been about hats. I've been working on going to sleep at regular time, Shanth, and you feel the good it does, reduces stress, feel mentally clear. You're absolutely right. Yeah, and healthy hats. Yeah, we're heart healthy here in Comicsgate. We're working on it anyway. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Hail CG, says Blackjack. Hail to you, Blackjack. It's great to see you, man. Yeah, I to me, art is what I sort of need to survive, in a sense. Like, I've never known anything other than needing to make artwork, and I didn't even know it was a thing. So when I was coming up, I would go to school, and there was this expectation, you know, you got to get your good grades, you got to do well at this. And art did not factor into what my other things were that you know, the expectations I had on myself. I just made artwork all the dang time. And now that I'm you know, at a different place with it, I realize why I'm doing it after, you know, gosh, I've been doing this now for first pro job in comics, I think, was when I was 17 on this book called Threshers. And now that I've been doing it for a while, I realize that you know, there's a part of it where you just kind of let go of your intellect and everything that you're trying to do with it, and just, you know, go, let's rock. Let's do this stuff. Let's make it happen. That's the way we're going to make the coolest stuff. And that sense of play, you know, what was it we always talk about, you know, envy is the thief of joy that we often cite and quote. I think Cranberry Langers says that a lot. I think I think Timmy Mello says that. I know a lot of you guys say that in the chat. It's very true. And I think that being passionate, yeah, envy only takes John. I think it's you too. I think you say that all the time. Yeah, John, that's who I was thinking about you. I'm sure. And the thing that gets me about that is that as we work. Just check and make sure everybody's all right. You never know when you get a text if somebody needs you. But you never know how much that can affect you in terms of your work and in terms of what you put into your system. If the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, then I have to imagine that when I'm watching, nihilistic entertainment or nihilistic commentary on the world, that it's going to affect me. And so I've always felt that there's this... I mean, I don't want to put too much responsibility on it because I've been a teacher for so many years, man, and a parent for, now 18 years. I just think sometimes that, it is what it is. But I definitely think that if I'm going to put something out there, I do my best to put out stuff that's going to be something that kind of doesn't work against the mission of having some kind of connection in this life. Like Nosfero, the book. And I think it's a good excuse. Like, if I slip and tell you something about Nosfero, I think I can just blame it on being tired. You know what I mean? And, but Nosfero is a story in many ways about... I remember my favorite, Prix review of it was my brother Nick, because my brother Nick, he's very straight with me. He knows his stuff. And, he's 61 or 62 now. So he's been around, worked in science fiction, fantasy, illustration, done all of this work. And he read it and he goes, holy cow, like that. And it's a short, it's 33 pages, man. He said, he loved the way the artwork was going, but he said something to me that I haven't forgotten. He goes, it's almost like seeing the first sort of introduction into a world like Solomon Kane or Conan or something like that, because of this kind of idiosyncratic, imaginative storytelling that you have to do, perfection or no. What is up, Neon Todd Studios? It is great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Hey, Shanth and chat. Gotta be mostly lurking today, but hope everyone is having a good Friday. I hope you're having a good Friday, man. And I don't know how you get to that point other than pushing your mind, to a certain point. But then also, I would say you have to really not lose that sense of play. And joy and that sense of play, which envy robs us of, can have a direct impact on our creativity and our ability to create things. Now, if you're not a particularly creative person, that's all fine and good. It's like, as I often say, I'm not a boxer, but I love watching boxing, and I really enjoy it. And thank God I don't have to, have my orbital bone fractured or something like that, for a living. God bless those guys. They're gladiators. But I think that it's important to recognize that joy, not misery, is an engine for great art. I think that people are very comfortable saying that misery is the only engine for great art. It may have produced some great art. But outside of insight, outside of skill, and outside of discipline, I think you gotta be real about it, man. And it's joy is a big part of it. If you're not having, I wouldn't say, like, sometimes I feel like I watch movies where the cast and crew seem to have had fun, but nobody else has fun when the movie comes out. But I think that if you're passionate and you're involved in what you're doing, you're going to find the people who are into it and want to support you. And that's a big one too. That's a big one. Yeah, aren't you always tired, Shanth? I credit most of what you say to exhaustion anyways. Yeah, I probably am. Yeah, those who voluntarily cheat sleep must be an insult to those who cannot sleep well. Let me tell you this. That is 100% true. If somebody said, yes, 100% true. Yeah, exactly. Yes, indeed. So when people ask me about that, if I could have any skill, what skill would I want? The two skills I have would be able to read really fast, so I wouldn't have to listen to audiobooks as much and just be able to sit down and just go into a book, because I see mostly in pictures. Words are kind of, I talk my words out. I can type. I can actually write. I've written a couple thousand words, 5,000 words or 6,000 words into a novel. Like, writing to me is much more relaxing but reading is much more difficult. And then the other skill I wish I had is I wish I could just sleep. I wish I was one of those people. My wife, God bless her, lays down, passes right out. She can go to sleep. And that is a hell of a skill. And for me, I've never needed it. I was hearing about Vince McMahon, who apparently sleeps for 2 hours a night. And I was like, oh my goodness. But I can definitely relate to not being a creature of sleep. I never have been. Or actually, I should say, apparently when I was a baby, I slept a lot. And that's about it. I think for as long as I can remember staying up and doing some of my best work when I was up all night. That's how it is. Yeah, this werewolf painting is going to be killer. I love doing stuff for backers. You know, these paintings. I mean, granted, the whole book is for backers, but I've only been doing crowdfunding art books and things like that since 2018. So it's just been a couple of years into this, as opposed to teaching, which was 18 years of my life, which is crazy. And I'm sure I'm going to still be teaching. I don't know what God's plan is, but there certainly seems to be one from time to time. Let's see. So you're balancing it out for your extra sleep as a baby. Yes, I am. Absolutely. Vince is a madman. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, that's it's not fun. It's not fun to not be able to sleep per se, but I don't sleep that much. Yeah, I know what you mean. And for me too, my brain, my brain just does not stop. I just am creating stuff and thinking of stuff all the time. I was working on, I forget all the things I was working on, but I did, when I did the new Waffle Lodge cheerleaders for the show I'm going to be doing at night to just help, guys come in and hang out, some of my friends, and promote their stuff. I went through and I did that frame by frame. My wife was like, "You're nuts." And I go, "Yeah, because I just want to have something on deck, that's generic, and I want to freshen things up every now and again. I want to make things, fun for the fans, fun for the subscribers, and certainly fun for the channel members, man. Because you guys, we need every bit of your support we can get." But for me, I was looking back at, the history of this channel and looking back at some of my early videos, early streams, 40 views, 20 views. And I was thinking, man, it's crazy to think about. But it's not about how many people are watching. It's about, which it's great. Like, I'm not saying it's not about, oh, I don't want to have more people watching, and grow my channel and all that stuff. But it ultimately is about you're getting in your practice doing this. You're getting in your practice talking and painting and doing all this stuff, man. Yeah. During the week, I sleep maybe 5-6 hours a night. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Yeah, that's about where I am, I think. It's one of those things. Yeah, sleep is the only time we get peace from the endless motor that is our productive ADHD-ridden brains. Amen. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I've tried sleeping cheap, and it's always caught up with me. It's like fighting the law in that sense. I'd like to sleep more, but I just can't. But I just get up around 5 a.m. See, guys, I'm telling you, it's crazy. I can just stay up and watch the sun come up. If I don't, and I'm not doing it on purpose. I mean, I have to purposefully try to go to sleep. It's not something that I ever sit around and go, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if I got no sleep?" I can remember a few times I went away on vacation with the missus and, to visit family or whatever, and I got into a really comfy bed at the hotel, and I just passed out, and I slept for 3 days. I could barely move. I think part of that could also be, at least for most of us, we're working at home. And and that's why it's been great for me to put my work stuff and my office stuff in its own room so I can shut the door. But even still, when I'm in this room, I'm thinking about working. Or when I'm in the house, I'm thinking about working, and that's tough. Having a home office is really tough. Because you just, you want to, gosh, what am I saying? Cry me a river. I've seen really tough. This ain't really tough. This is just, it's difficult, let's say. It's a little difficult. Complicated. Not tough. Yeah, every now and again I hear my younger self going, "You call this tough? You'd have killed for this." Back in the day. There we go. All you fine people hanging out, talking art and comics, what more could a fellow want? There we go. Yeah, this is coming together now. So yeah, that's, for me, getting this to be all that it can be. is going to be the biggest part of the creative process on it. And as I adjust it and as I, work out what all the, the design choices I'm going to make in the painting. What's up, Michael Deach? How are you doing? Oh shoot, it just jumped. They say we have 200 internal biological clocks. Easy to see how things could get out of whack with our modern lifestyle. Amen, Michael. And Michael, let me ask you. I have a question to ask you, but let me get back to it. Green Laser, it's great to see you. Art of Roy, it's great to see you, my friend. Gosh, all these people jump in when I'm not looking. Evening all, says Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. Evening to you, my friend. And let's see if I missed anybody else. Okay, cool. So, here's the thing I wanted to make sure I said. Michael, you and somebody else, I know Jim Cox was, I think we're talking about how your thoughts and your ideas on stories. And I neglected to ask you, because I have a couple of things like the Peter David Hulk run with Todd McFarlane and reuniting Betty and Bruce, Dave Stevens' Rocketeer, but sometimes I forget to ask people, what were the comic book stories? Do they mean that they loved? Were they a run on a book? What were the single issues that stood out to them? So if you got those, drop them in the chat so I have them, and of course I'll read them. But I'd love to know, because I as I was ending the stream, I was like, because I was just, I was working like crazy yesterday, and I thought, I forgot to ask. I should have followed up with that, and it drove me nuts. So yeah, do let me know. Do let me know. The groomsman. The Shanth marathon continues. You know what, man? I can't stop, and I won't stop. Yeah, no conductor Enjeti? All right, hang on a second. That made me sad. That made me sad, man. That was heartbreaking. There you go, man. I got you back. Oh, look at there. I knew they'd come pouring in, man. I knew they'd come pouring in. I sleep with my ears wide open, constantly listening and assessing sounds around me. Anything's off, yep. I'm counting hand. That's my brother and I are like that. I'm very hypervigilant, man. When I started working out for the first time ever 5 years ago, I learned I needed 3 things: workout routine, balanced diet, and sleep. Sleep is the only problem I've had with workout routines. It sucks. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you guys. Let me see here. Where was I here? My sleep schedule is completely driven by my responsibilities to others. Amen. That's what it is. If not for that, I'm sure my personal pattern would be erratic. Yeah, that's right. That's mine is too. And the Death of Phoenix. So many people, it's just like a turning point, in their comic book reading life. Let me see if I can adjust this a little better. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, 100%. I just got the OG Ninja Turtles run, says Scottsley. And it's so great that I'm mad I waited this long to get it. But isn't it awesome that it was waiting for you? But yes, I know what you mean. I love reading the old Ninja Turtles run. That first issue, I think it was 44 pages. It might have been more, but it was some odd number that was like, it wasn't typical. I don't think it was 48. They set up that whole world that Ninja Turtles has been trading on in that many pages. I always remind myself of that when we talk about page count. That if that book coming out created the phenomenon, there were Mousers, there were, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on their name. The Utrons, I think is what they were called, but they had all these different characters, but at the end of the day, it was just phenomenal, man. Avengers Annual number 7 and Marvel 2-in-1 by Jim Starlin Marcus. I love it, man. I love it. I really enjoyed the Hulk, The End. Yes, that looks beautiful. By the way, that artwork looked outstanding. Father Time, always undefeated. Let's see here. The Shredder one is, 42 or 44 with the Shredder. One of the best single issues of any comic, 100%. Any of Starlin's cosmic stories. There you have it. Yeah, see, for me, I look at some of those single issue books that just hit it out of the park with, with what they were doing and, introducing us to characters. And that's kind of a gold standard for me. I love that you got, who the Ninja Turtles were. You got the story of Splinter. I mean, you got this amazing backstory of, Hamato Yoshi and Oroku Nagi and Saki, and the vengeance of the younger brother. I mean, that was that was some crazy stuff. And it's I mean, look at us now. We're still talking about the Ninja Turtles all these years later, and I'm convinced that is always the opportunity in this space. Is to Dave Stevens did what, one 8-issue backup story, and people were like, I need more of this Rocketeer. What is this? I think people flipped out about the ad for the Rocketeer that Dave Stevens did. I mean, that was some crazy stuff, guys. Crazy stuff. Blackjack says, first X-Men book was Uncanny 181, so I read Death of Phoenix after they brought back Jean Grey for X Factor #1, so the Death of Phoenix didn't have that big of an effect on me. Yeah, isn't that wild to think about, like, when you read these things out of sequence? It's crazy, man. Yeah, Lee and Kirby Fantastic Four, I remember buying the Marvel Masterworks of that. Such great stuff, man. Yeah, the death that affected me most in comics, the series Strike Force, Morituri by Peter Gillis and Brent Anderson. Such an underrated series. There you go. All-Star Superman is one of my favorite stories from start to finish. Yeah, man. It's, for me, my introduction to Todd McFarlane and to wanting to be a comic book artist, interestingly enough, was Hulk 340. And the thing about that run of Hulk right before we go off on the great, Mr. Fix-It part of the Hulk stories was the relationship between Bruce, Betty, and the Hulk, and trying to come to some consensus if they want to have a life together. And there are so many poignant moments that Peter David wrote about the two of those that were just, those two characters that were just so great. And so I just want to, I always want to think about that when I think about relationships and characters, just how great that stuff was. There we go. Yeah, I love working this way. This paper is really good for it. Thank you guys for being in here. Hostman Socrates, how are you doing? Hey, y'all, the Werewolves of London. Ooh, yeah, absolutely, man. It's the Werewolves of London. I love that movie. Someone I follow was just talking about it, man. Yeah, Dreadstar up to the point of the big battle with High Papal. Micronauts, that's right, Michael Golden. I had a teacher in high school who was a big Micronauts fan. Really into that stuff. Yeah, Mr. Fix-It was cool, man. I love that story, but that moment where he's trapped inside the dome and it's like, you can see her say Bruce and then Hulk says Betty. I just was like, whoa. Really nice. And then she talks about, that when they're doing the, they're in court talking about the, what all happened. But yeah, that was a great story. And to me, I love to know what kind of stories people are into. Because, for me, I don't think I always write or illustrate what I'm into in my stuff, because I don't know if I could get where I wanted to be with my work if I was trying to chase, just the stuff that I like. I write the stuff that I like to write and that I think is entertaining. But that doesn't mean I don't like a lot of different kinds of comic book work. So I think that that's the biggest thing I'm looking for when I think about pop culture and entertainment, is I'm looking for stuff that, stuff that's just all interesting. I want as much interesting work as there is. And I want this dude. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that Shanth can go for 26 hours straight. Bonus 2 hours stretch goal. That's right. I know. It's been like that. Animal Man, new 52 run. Yep. There you go. I will say werewolves. Malin is here. That's right. Malin's, technically the character's named for him. So yeah. It's only mentioned once in passing because the original idea for the character was to name the character Greylock. There's a story reason for that. Like, guys, there's stuff that just, when you're writing books and you're making work, there's stuff that comes out of it that is just crazy. I'm working on this novel that I've been working on off and on is one of my favorite things I'm doing. I haven't touched it in a while because I've been busy working on all this stuff, but I cannot wait next time. Maybe I'll do it today. Maybe I'll work on it today. Let's see. Another interesting thing about the Strike Force series, early art by Jim Lee, Wills, Scott, and Mark Bagley. There you go. Scott Williams inks are crazy. I remember listening to my mentor Stelfreeze was talking about Scott Williams, and he was talking about how he used to customize his nibs and file them down so that he could get some of these amazing effects he got. Guys, there are some serious people out there, some serious talent doing some crazy stuff. Manga, not comics specifically. All You Need Is Kill has one of the most poignantly tragic endings I've read. Couldn't rate Edge of Tomorrow After. Yeah, I couldn't read. Is it read or rate? Oh, couldn't rate Edge of Tomorrow After. Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Stone finally finished up. Wasn't expecting the ending satisfying. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Oh my. Oh gosh. Kanye is trying to trademark the term now. Well, some people get up very early in the morning and they have big plans. And his is that trademark right there. I was actually really impressed by the anime of Attack on Titan. I think it's an amazing story concept, and it's something that that very close to my heart in terms of what I would do if I did a kaiju-esque story. I just think it's really cool, but it's also because my daughter's a massive fan. She loves that. She loves that anime, and it was crazy because I saw it and I was like, going, wow, this anime is referencing Goya's paintings, and then telling this really cool. I guess it'd be steampunk story. I don't think it's diesel punk. I think it's steampunk. But it's not like they use tech. The way they use tech and the way they tell stories in that, none of it is just an aesthetic affectation. Like, the stuff is very, very cool. The stuff is really powerful. Michael Deach. Okay, hang on. So let me adjust my glasses here. Michael Deach. My taste in comics was more to do with the art and genre than great storytelling. My dad got me started. I was just thinking about those the other day with Mad Magazine. That led me to finding old EC horror stories, horror books. Later was fantasy and underground stuff. Michael, let me tell you something. I was thinking about Mad Magazine the other day, and I know magazines are just, it's so hard to put out magazines, and I think, honestly, it has to be something that's, going to be, well, there's two options for it. It's got to be stuff in there that is timeless, almost like an anthology with articles that are not contemporary, not current day or current hour stuff, or it's got to be something that's online. And the biggest issue with that is going to be, making sure that you can get money for it, because otherwise people aren't going to do that kind of thing. But Mad Magazine was so incredible, man. That was some incredible stuff. And I love that. I love the way that I used to look at those comics, and I didn't know, that was just normal to me, how good they were. And now I look back and I just go, those guys were incredible. Those artists were incredible. Even some of that crazy stuff National Lampoon was doing was awesome. But I know what you mean. I just want stuff to be freer. Yeah, always been a fan of steampunk, but hard to find a good one. Yeah, that isn't manga-style art. Skies of Fire is probably the best I've read. There you go. Let's see. God, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. Is it Boichi of Dr. Stone? Is that how I pronounce that? Or is it something else? Also, a one-shot Hotel since 2079. Hotel story stores DNA at the end of the world. Wow, that's crazy. I've been going through a ton of classic stuff and a lot of BD manga. I actually just finished reading Sky Doll and need to get the next Black Sad volume. Yeah, Black Sad's awesome. The artwork in that is great. I just realized I'm not clicking on these. But yeah, absolutely, man. It's some great stuff. Okay, Boichi. Got it. I think. You can let me know if I got it and how close I was. I don't want to congratulate myself before I know for sure I came within 100 yards of it. But yeah. That's what it's about, guys. That's the fun of this stuff. Is just checking out, to me, manga, it's the production value of the books in many ways, but manga and bande dessinée to me are just far more interesting to me at this moment, and that's why I'm trying to work in what I love about bande dessinée, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing these days. Because I want to spend time on things. I want them to be beautiful. I want them, to be, again, like a bigger version of more pages of my art books with story. And it doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing art books, because I have a whole bunch of ideas for my next art book and things like that. I mean, that's how we're going to be able to keep the lights on, God willing, is to, you know, make sure that I can do everything that I'm able to do as often as I can, and make money off of it. That's a big thing, because, you know, we're just like, you know, it's a crazy thing. I think I was talking to Eric about this at some point, but Eric Weathers, is that what we're doing is such a crazy thing, and it's like you're funding, when you're funding imagination, it's every single dollar counts. And, you know, I've worked a lot of different kinds of jobs, and, you know, it's I'm aware that, of course, everything takes some money, everything, you know, to keep the lights on. But when it comes to this stuff, it's so hard to explain what we're doing and what the process is, because it's just, I don't know. People either have to feel it or they don't. It's hard to describe. And so it's doing the work so that you can make something that people connect to is a skill that takes a lot of time to develop. And you know, it can be a lot, but you guys are here. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Yeah, John heading out. Take care, man. Take care, John. Have a great day, brother. Much love. I read a lot of trash, basically. Yeah, there you go. Well, hey, listen. I mean, that stuff is great, too. Wolfie has a lot of cavities. Yeah, he does. We got to work on him. We got to fix his teeth up, you know, Mr. Monkey Boy. Yeah, take care. Take care, John. Thank you guys for being in here. I really do appreciate it. I mean, it's so strange, man. Looking at the, again, just to go back. Sorry to go back to that, but just looking at the history of the channel. I was telling my wife the other day, because she was just going, you know, it's crazy to support an artist. It's crazy to support somebody doing this kind of work. And she has, without hesitation, might I add. I do not know what I did to deserve her. I can only imagine she must have done something atrocious in a previous life. That's what I come up with. It's a lot. And she's an artist as well, too. So that's you know, part of it, I'm sure. But she is, you know, she looks at the stuff that I'm doing and she just gets it, but it is so crazy to her. She's, you know, when we talk about YouTube, I go, can you imagine just going on YouTube, making artwork in front of people, carrying on a conversation in this vast sea of so many people doing different things and trying to build an audience? She's like, no, that is my idea of hell. Like, that is a nightmare to think about. And I go, it's weird, because it's just, I follow the mail-in method. It's just something you have to do. It's something you have to do. Let's see here. Art-wise, Call of the Night and Grimgar are stunning. Call of the Night has these amazing gold and purple skies. Wow. Grimgar is very watercolor, but animated also has amazing skies. Let me see here. Michael Deach, I remember reading Vertigo's Vamps in the 90s about the time I gave up on comics. I wanted to try to make my own book, but life intervened. Didn't buy any more comics until CG. Yeah, I think one of the comics that really made me think maybe I could do painted stuff, and it was way before. Nosfero is my first painted comic. That's how long this stuff had to germinate, man. Was reading John J. Muth's The Mystery Play, and I recently got it in hardcover, and I'm so glad to finally have a great copy of it, because it is, man, that book is awesome. It's just the artwork in it is so good. He's such a great painter. Kent Williams and John J. Muth did some great stuff with Wolverine Meltdown, and I think Muth does picture books now. Like, a lot of people who do painted comic book stuff, they have to find, speak of the devil, my brother's calling me, and I'll call him back. But the thing about it is, you don't see a lot of people who continue to do painted comics or do a lot of painted comics, because they're so labor intensive. And I think for me, I have to have a story that I 100% need to tell. I don't know that I could do a painted comic book of somebody else's story, because it's so labor intensive. You know, to me, it's you know, dedicating, I don't even want to think about how many hours and God knows how much money to make these things come together, for the hope that it becomes something that people want to buy again. You know, but this was my wife's you know, conversation she had with me that was very Stan Lee, For all intents and purposes, she was like, do one your way. And after this, wherever it goes and whatever I have to do, I will do. But for, I want to give this the best opportunity I can to succeed. And I don't want to go... What's that famous quote? It's better to regret something you have done than something you haven't done. I knew this was what I was supposed to be doing right now, and I never know what any of this stuff is going to lead to. So it really is a leap of faith. It's always a leap of faith. That's what we got to do, But thank you guys so much for being here this morning. I do appreciate it as we do this work, because I know it's... there's a lot of stuff going on. There's work. You guys have tons of things. But I said, I'm going to do I basically said, but I just streamed, a couple of hours ago or however many hours ago it was. And I just thought, no, I'm not going to measure things that way, because I don't do that with art. I don't go, well, I was just painting 5 minutes ago. So I thought, I've got to do it, man. Got to stream. I want to do more streams. I want to make sure people have stuff that they can watch. I'm aware that I tend to have a very positive outlook on things, and tend to be very I tend to sort of speak from the heart and try to make sure I'm always putting good stuff out there. So as many things as at times as I can do that, to just give people context, if they're like, I want to hear a Shanth pep talk right now, then that's what I'm here for. I want to see Shanth paint. I want to see something beautiful. I want to, just whatever, man. That's what it's about for me, man. That's what it's about. I mean, when you guys show up, it's like channel members and super chats. It's outstanding, man. You guys are great. And when you guys show up and subscribe and like these streams, all of it all helps, man. Do you remember the Iron Man? Yes, graphic novel Crash. I loved it. That was the first computer-generated comic way back when. Whatever happened to that guy? He did a couple of things after that. I'm sure he did some stuff in that field, because he was on the bleeding edge. But I actually, I would love to see him or even somebody else go back to that book. I looked at it recently, and just up the resolution, do some interesting things, take on it, because the visuals were cool, and I loved that Iron Man costume. Loved it. But that's another... See, man, the groomsman's known me forever. Hey, y'all, what's up, Ice Queen? How are you doing? This is the thing that I have to say about that. Iron Man Crash was another book that I loved that was in this format. The more I look back at the comics I collected a disproportionate amount of comic books that were the square bound, in this case with bonus materials, about 50-page format. There was so much stuff. There was the Rocketeer, there was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles book, there was Iron Man Crash, there was the Shadow 1941. So I was collecting books in that kind of 8.5 by 11 bande dessinée format, and then I got into bande dessinée. So I guess that format has always been something I've found appealing. Do you know what I mean? It's I don't know what that is. Clearly it affected me. But yeah, I loved Iron Man Crash when it came out. I thought that suit was freaking amazing. They did, especially because it had the I was big into Aliens at the time, and it had the belt mount of it, like he had the big gun hooked up, and it was so cool. Man, did I love that. Yeah, I love that armor. And it was like a little risque, had a little bit of horrendous early digital art nudity in it. Looks like, basically it'd be like if it looked like Tetris, for God's sake, some of it. But it was so cool what he was doing. I mean, it was crazy that we were in Photoshop land shortly thereafter. But back in the day, that was a big deal. That was a huge deal when that book came out. And it was a really nice format. Yeah, what a cool story. And then after that, I think the only Iron Man artist that I really thought did it, because someone was mentioning Iron Man Extremis, was Adi Granov, who did some great stuff. But again, once you start doing this stuff, if you get into the film industry, as he did, it gets a little harder, I imagine, for these guys to come back to comics. I mean, that's one of the ways I can tell people, if you want to know if I love comics or not. I had a career doing something that, before it went all insane, that I loved doing, and had that sort of security, and I was still making art books, and I was still coming into this space. And I'm sure people like Adi Granov didn't just, I'm sure he'll come back and do some comic stuff at some point if he isn't still doing some stuff. But, yeah, what a talent, man. I mean, he really defined Iron Man for an entire generation by influencing the movies and then doing the concept art. Everybody thinks that stuff is the Iron Man. I just picked up Dan Green's Doctor Strange Shambhala graphic novel, which is also in the format and watercolor painted. Telling you guys, if we can get what I really want, it's not that I don't love stuff like Moonshadow, it's not that I don't love, you know, some of the stuff that's been done, but I would really love to see more creator-owned painted comics that are pulp, that are striving to be, you know, a little bit more, as pulp is often described, you know, sexy, mysterious, dangerous, and mainstream. Right now I feel like Bond S&A does that stuff pretty well. They do detective novels, they do pulp in that sense. But I want to see kind of the kind of monster, you know, Lovecraftian stuff that isn't, that unlike Lovecraft doesn't end with and I love his stuff. Make no mistake, the first issue of Nosferatu that I delivered anyone, I'm taking to Lovecraft's grave at Swan Point Cemetery. But the thing about it is, I would really like to see, you know, just straight ahead, you know, made for everybody art. So when I think about my ideal comics, for me, like one of my ideal comic ideas, like when not my idea, but I'd love to see that it's my job to do. It's not my job to wait for other people to do. Is I watch the original Frankenstein movie. Still holds up. It's a great flick. That and Dracula were made in 1931. There's no fat on those movies. They're not these massive, massive movies that go on forever. They are lean, mean, and they get it done. And that's what I love, man. Oh my gosh. We have got a $2 super chat from Plush. Bro, did you sleep? Let me tell you something, Plush. What time did I wake up? I got about 4.5 hours of sleep last night. So it is what it is. I woke up and I was going to be awake. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I appreciate your support. I'm going to send 2 cheerleaders your way. I'm going to send the original cheerleader and then I'm going to send the Waffle Lodge gals. Here you go. This is for you.
Charge! Charge!
There you go, brother. Yeah, I don't really sleep that often, and even when I'm not streaming as much as, you know, I am now, and I was back in the day, it's not that I'm sleeping, it's that I'm trying to recharge. You know, I'm trying to take in things, because you can't just export, you know, things all the time. You want to read books, and you want to take some time to study things and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think I might be going back into machine mode. And a little bit of it is, and I love my family very much. Let me be really clear about this. I know they know this. I tell them every day. But the thing about it is this, is that in the summer when everybody is at home, because my office is at home, I am a true introvert and I need isolation to recharge. So once it's been a couple of weeks or months into the school year, I find my energy starts to come back, because it's hard for me not to think about people when they're around me and want to, you know, help them and take care of them. It's just the way it is, man. Catching up and lurking, good stream. If I don't catch up, I was thinking of Mad Magazine yesterday. So was I. It's crazy. Isn't sleep, isn't sleep painted? You're absolutely right. It is a painted death. Some Aussie said that. Yeah, my brother, man. My coffee with cream. You know, that's what he is. You know? And that's right. That's what cracked me up, man. You guys in the chat are killing me. I'm not kidding though. It's when it dawned on us. Imagine this. There's this guy on the other side of the planet. All right? There's this guy on the other side of the planet. And through whatever reason, we have this bizarre connection that doesn't even require words. I cannot talk to him for a month or two, and then he talks to me. He's like an old friend that I've, you know, known for decades. Comicsgate does that. And I will tell you, though, the record holder, one of the many record holders is in the chat. There's only a few of them, which is one of my oldest friends. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. My oldest friend is the groomsman. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's my oldest friend. That is crazy to think about. He's the only person I've known longer than my wife, which is nuts. Listen, past Master Dan, you send this clip of the stream, okay? If that happens, my dear wife, I want Past Master Dan to have my sketchbook. So whatever sketchbook you deem is the best one worthy of Past Master Dan, I want him to have it. Know that. All right, Past Master Dan, I got you, baby. You're taken care of. Yeah, what you're saying speaks to me, brother. Right there with you, 100%. What? I'm not old. You're old. Baby, we're both old. The other day, I did a late night run to McDonald's because, again, Past Master Dan, you're going to get that sketchbook. And I brought my brother with me on the phone. We had him on speaker. And he said the funniest thing that I loved and made my son's day. He goes, I can't tell which one of you's talking. He sounds just like you. And I was dying laughing, man. Cranberry Langers with a $2 super chat. Dude, just dropping a $2 super chat and walking away like a gangster. Thank you, brother. Much love. I appreciate you. These gals are for you. God bless you.
Charge! Charge!
Don't worry, Past Master Dan. I'm going to stick around till you guys are done with me. That's actually what I've been told. I've been informed by my wife that I'm not allowed to die until like 1 minute after her. She's informed me. So I don't know how I'm going to work that whole thing out, but apparently that is what I got to do. A promise is a promise. And yeah, don't want to wreck Mrs. Enjeti's plan for life, man. Only your new sketchbook that is empty, your wife will sell all the single pages from the completed books. I'm telling you, man. Sadly, I'm older than you, but I'm walking on the right side of the grass. There you go, man. That's it. That's it. I love it. Yeah, let me say this. You guys are... Gosh, man. I've been waiting for... I know this is going to sound whatever, but who cares? This is who I am. If anybody knows how to paint, lie... Hell, even just paint and talk and master it, let me know. But this is really what it comes down to. I've been waiting to meet you guys my whole life. I've been waiting to meet the people who care about this stuff, who want to see my artwork and want to fund this stuff. And every day I am grateful. I remember even before Comicsgate when I got, into the 20 or 30,000 followers on Instagram and then people started backing my art books. I loved it. It was amazing and it was overwhelming. Comicsgate turbocharged that. So God bless you guys. Oh my gosh, a super chat from the groomsman. $5 for a coffee or a watch so you can know when to sleep. Do you remember when I had an alarm set on my watch in college to remember to eat? It was not good. All right, these girls are for you, brother. Much love and thank you.
Charge! Charge!
Yeah, great quote there. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When the great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits. Yes, not animals. 100%, man. That is the thing that I sort of feel like there's a few people, and again, Bancroft and I talked about this one time, and maybe I've talked about this with Eric Weathers, that we sort of felt like things were either just wrapping up before we could get to them, or they were just, starting after we were heading out. Like, we just were out of sync with things. And I think that sometimes, I seriously, I thank God for it. I give all glory to God on that. But this is the time when I went, oh, this is what I was being prepared to do all that time. This is what I was supposed to be. I'm glad I spent that time learning how to paint. I'm glad I spent that time learning how to make comics. And I'm glad I spent that time talking, in a classroom in front of people. Because all of that stuff now has led to this. And it's the first time I felt like I was exactly on time. Like when Image Comics and all that stuff was happening, I was too young and my skills weren't where they would have needed to be. And when my skills got to a point where I could actually make something that was even halfway decent, the industry was dead. There was, only Diamond and previews, and it was impossible to get something off the ground. That's something my wife talks about in the intro to Nosfero. And this was the time when I thought, the situation this is the adventure I was ready for, to paraphrase Joseph Campbell, man. And that's big. You know, that's big. Let's see here. Yeah, charge indeed, Scottsley. You're OG. You know what I'm talking about. We are spirits in the material world 100%. But what about the pole dancing lessons? I still don't get how that fits in. Those are just for you, brother. Those are just for you. It's how it works, you know. Seems to me like forces have been making moves recently. Yeah, conflict is the obvious one, but whole markets are shifting. Yes. And thank you, Mark's music obsession, for being a channel member and also cracking up. My brother's crazy, man. I love that guy. And we're here to have fun. We're here to have fun, make comics, and kick ass. That's what we're about. And I just don't understand, how do I put it? One of the best things that I think I've learned in my 40 whatever years is, to 47, I guess now, is to make sure that to keep myself in the headspace where my attitude is, so what, now what, no matter what happens, trying to stay in that space. And then the other aspect of it is saying, to myself, or not putting things on people that are my responsibility. And that's tough, because it's not about isolation. It's not being on your own, because we need people around us. I need people to back these books so they don't happen. I need people to show up for these streams. I need you guys. Thank you for all the super chats today. It's been nuts. But I need people to do that. There's no doubt about it. And I want to give something back for value. But I don't think anybody owes me their success, if that makes sense. And I genuinely get excited for other people's success. When I see Jeremy Ice and Fire, his channel blow up and doing well, I mean, I designed that logo for him to use as his icon because his channel was shifting from the crack pack to his love of fantasy, his love of all of that kind of stuff. I wanted to do that for him. And you got to do those things. You got to be happy for people. Doing the stuff I've done for Ethan, I've always been, I just sent him some files that I did way back when of, CyberFrog figure photos that I cleaned up for him, because I was like, I don't know if he has these or he remembers he has these, because he's got so much going on. But, I think I did the first, kind of somewhat long trailer for CyberFrog action figures so that he could play it and it could show what the figures were, because I didn't want him to have to repeat it, every stream. And I could think of so many of those kinds of things that have been a real pleasure to do, because I do feel excited. I'm thrilled with all of Michael Bancroft's success. I was so thrilled when Mark Miller shouted out Narwhal's animation trailer. What a good dude. He's my Nos Fair bro, as I always say, and I'm Eric Weathers' Battle Brick bro, and I'm Michael Bancroft's Brogan. I feel like I've left somebody out. But we have all these like funny nicknames we do because we're all gay. It is what it is. But that's the thing, as we're working on this shit and we're doing things like, I'm trying to get subsurface scattering and translucency on the skin on the inside of a werewolf's ear. I've got people around me. That's it. To just hang with. Art can be a very lonely and isolating thing, but I think the internet and YouTube has actually helped us to not have that experience. I watch streams of people working sometimes while I work. Sometimes they're doing something completely different. Sometimes they're blacksmiths. They're, they could be doing any number of different things. And that's what makes it fun to me, man. That's what makes it great, man. Happiest boys in the business. Gay. That's right. 100%. To me, Mello, it is what it is. That's right. Yeah, some might even, marry even, some would say. That's right. 100%, man. 100%. Oh my lord! But it's a trip, man. It's a trip to meet these cats and to to get to know them and to know, that when I have questions about printers or color fixing this, or they've got questions, they ask me stuff. I mean, Eric Weathers and I were talking about maybe we should do some streams because he really wants to learn how to paint. He said, maybe we could do some streams on your channel of you teaching me how to paint. And I'd love to do that. You know, I think that would be great. But it's you know, it's a question of, because I can't really, I've tried it, I can't really teach this kind of stuff without students. Because everybody you got to come at as an individual when you're trying to teach them how to do things. And I feel like there's enough tutorials online that are fantastic. But what it really comes down to, when you get to the level of the higher to intermediate level, that's when the critiquing gets more and more important. It's difficult to do, you know? You say 100%, but I really think you're 82% gay. Let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, you know. Look, guys, when we don't have goals and things to strive for, that's when we die. So, you know, I got to keep something going. What's up, awesome one? It's great to see you, my wrench, my friend. How you doing, man? If this pic was turned into an iron statue by a blacksmith, oh my gosh, dude, I love watching blacksmiths work, because that work. There's this documentary I watched on Nova that was actually influenced how I approached, in a weird way, how I approached Nosfero, called what was it called? I think it was The Mystery of the Viking Sword, but I don't know if that's the title. But it was a guy named Richard Fur, I think his name is F-U-R something, or Fuller, or I can't remember what it was, but it was pronounced weird. And he's a blacksmith, and he built historically accurate, using the kiln and the crucible of the time, slag-free crucible steel, and then inlaid this Viking sword. He scratch built it. And watching stuff like that is so inspiring. Most of what I say is. My art is different, but the passion for it is the same. I get it. You know what I'm talking about. I was talking with Aldi on, I guess, the other day about, you know, he plays the bass. I think it's so much, you know, like that, isn't it? We're interested in this stuff. We're fascinated in the creating of things. One of my favorite channels on YouTube is Townsend's, and I'm a channel member of that channel oh man, oh good lord, if you guys want to hear and it's you have to be a member to have seen this video. Do you guys want to hear an incredibly cheesy but from the heart Shanth comment on a video? Put some ones in the chat, I'll share it with you, but it's horrendous. Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, I know it well, has a store where some logs that were chainsawed into bears and eagles. It's epic to see. Is that at Dollywood? Because I grew up in eastern Tennessee, and so I know the area really well. I know Pigeon Forge, I know Gatlinburg, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, hit me with some ones, and I'll read you the most... Okay, there you go. I'll read you an embarrassing, but this is how I am, guys. It's not fake. It never is. I don't know how to do it. So they were doing a cook-off between on Townsend's, and they were announcing we're gonna do a cook-off video between these two great chefs who do historically accurate cooking, and we'll see who wins. And my response was, oh my god, who will be the champion? Who knows? Who will be the winners? All of us fans of Townsend's. John, Ryan, Michael, Aaron, and the whole crew. Thank you for all the fun, knowledge, and experience you share with us. What are you gonna do? I'm just that dude, man. I that's the kind of stuff. It's so weird because, yeah, you learn a lot about people when you see how they are when nobody's looking, and I go into businesses, I go and talk to people, and, you know, like when I'm going ordering McDonald's, or if I was, you know, going to a Target, or I was going, you know, anywhere to talk to people, you know, and just go to restaurants. It feels weird to not talk to people and not connect with them, if that makes any kind of sense. Like, I don't get that. It's weird. And I will tell you this. I did not know anything about Ethan's comic book work before I contacted him. I only knew he was a fellow Star Wars fan, and we were about the same age. The thing about it that was so funny is I just saw this guy who was about my age, who was a new dad and had just, you know, married, you know, the love of his life, and he was getting his life, you know, wrecked, and people were calling him racist, and it sounds ridiculous, but I just wrote him a letter to say, just so you know, my family and I, we're a very, mixed family in that sense. And we all know you're not, and nobody with half a brain would think that. And it was just, my wife will often say to me, she's going, she's like, you lead with your wearing your heart on your sleeve, and you never know how people are going to take these things. But it was the same thing, man. When I painted that portrait for the gentleman from our town, Army Ranger who was killed in Afghanistan, I was so worried his mom wasn't going to like it. I can't even tell you. I looked at that thing. I got to a point where I said to my wife, you got to take this away from me, and it wasn't until I was about to give it to them, I was like, what have I done? These people don't know who I am. This could go terribly wrong. And they could just be like, this is creepy. But now, when we see him in the restaurant that my wife and I like to go out on dates to, that all the old people eat at the same time, that's us. Every now and again, we sit next to them and we have long. She looked over at me and she's like, "Now you're the young man who painted a painting for me, and of my son." And I said, "Yes, I am. It's. I didn't want to interrupt you. You were eating, so I didn't want to say anything." And then we talked for a couple hours. It's just maybe I don't know what that's about, man. But I think you gotta feel it. You gotta connect with people, and you gotta show up for. Sometimes I know it can be hard to not just to deal with the tough things in life, but to show up for the good things in life and say to yourself, hey man, I deserve to have this stuff, and I'm really trying to say that to people as much as I can, because I had a really important mentor, Brian Stelfreeze, in my life, who called me up, maybe about 6 years ago, but a while after I had been, interning and studying under him, to give me some painting advice. And at the end of the call, I mean, man, he almost broke me up, because I'm used to him just telling me, you suck. That's he was my Pai Mei. And he said to me at the end of the call, I said, thank you so much for everything you do for me, everything you've done for me. I appreciate your time. And he said to me, he goes, hey man, you deserve it. And I felt like my heart just went like I've been shot. I felt like someone had just punched me in the chest or liver shot me. I almost dropped. And it was I try to say that to people. I try to when people do positive things and help me or contribute positively to my life, I try to pay that forward, because I or just express it, because you just don't know, man. It's like you just don't know. Yeah. Thank God my brother was in Afghanistan for nearly a year, and mostly was a Humvee driver. He lives in Texas now. God bless him. And yes, indeed. Yeah, 100%. I'm glad he's safe and well and back. And thank God. The introvert dilemma, 100%. Okay, 83% gay. Well, look, I mean, listen. Now I feel like you're just hedging, But, you have to imagine whenever, most people, I've gotten a lot more suspicious meeting people, because I used to be just very much like, oh, hi, everybody's great. And then I taught for 18 years, and I realized that, some people are really good at playing the victim and then completely using your empathy and your investment in them to just kind of freaking stab you in the back. But I think that I've always, I was always trying to give people the benefit of the doubt and always trying to help people. And I do now more and more appreciate just how weird it can be when some stranger like myself comes up and says something positive or tries to be nice, but I can remember that I don't receive it negatively. So I try to just say, look, if they think I'm saying something positive and they think it's BS, that's their right. They don't have to receive it how I want them to receive it. But if they needed to hear something, then that's what I want to do. I want to make sure it was said. I want to make sure it was said, because it's worth doing it. K of Camel K. There you go. Let's see here. Yeah, the groomsman is hedging. Gross. You guys are hilarious, man. You guys are hilarious. So yeah, there's someone asked me this before, and I don't know if you ever read it, but I did message the Todd McFarlane official account on Instagram, and I've recorded more than a few videos about it. thanking, saying Todd McFarlane and what he did for me when I met him when I was a kid and how important that was for me. Because I think it's just important to get that stuff out there. It's important that, it's out there somewhere that they could either stumble upon it or maybe even hear it. Or even if they don't, other people might hear it. And so I always try to have a similar attitude when I'm, thinking about Mark. And by the way, happy birthday, Shane Davis. If you haven't wished Shane Davis a happy birthday today, it is his birthday. So send him some love. Go to Twitter and say happy birthday to the man. And, a great dude. And does a lot of hard work in CG. And Yanzi and Baby Pterodactyl are, are people that I know we love and support. And I think the stuff he's doing with his campaign, Accent, if anybody has the link, please drop it in the chat. See, that's another thing, guys. I did this for Ethan's birthday, and maybe that's why I'm streaming today. Maybe I was trying to remember this somehow in my subconscious. I said, let's move for his birthday, for Ethan's birthday on September 3rd, I think it was, the day after mine, I think. I said, let's move his campaign. Let's move his campaign for his birthday. Same thing with Shane, guys. Get the word out. It's Shane's birthday. If you have the means, you have the will, you have the desire to do so, back Shane's campaign today. Move that needle for him. He's a good dude and has worked really, really hard to get everything that he's gotten. So, show that love. Show that love to a cool creator who's done a lot to promote people and really just makes quality artwork and puts a lot of care into the stuff he does. So shout out to Shane Davis, man. I refuse to hang out with Shanth in person for that very reason. It's very true. Yeah, happy birthday, Shane, indeed. Happy birthday to Cat Pappy. 100%. Yeah, Cat Pappy Davis. Yeah, glad this conversation is happening virtually. Yes, he's been trying to pass on some of that percentage that can work. Oh my god. Oh, you guys are killing me. Why? Oh, that felt good. Every now and again you gotta crack the old bones, crack the old joints, and get things going. But yeah, it's the groomsmen and I, we were reading, the late great Jason Pearson's work in college, and I was sharing everything Brian Stelfreeze was teaching me. It was great stuff, man. Oh my gosh, let me see this here. Off to celebrate my brother's birthday as well. We're going to Outback. Oh, have some cheese fries for me. And then some homemade cheesecake. Peace. Wish your brother a happy birthday from me, awesome one. Tell him I say happy birthday, many happy returns. Have a great day, and get me some cheese fries, man. Get on that for me. Yeah, wish Shane Davis some birthday and love by supporting his work. Thank you for dropping that 9livescomics.com in the chat. Yep. That is the safest method. It's true. Yeah, from a distance. Yeah, when you sent me that Bette Midler song, I had no idea that you meant just, that it was a restraining order. That's a thing. That's unfortunate. But, it is what it is. You can't... Love is complicated. It's certainly increasingly so. Good Lord. There we go. It's fun. What I love about working in acrylic and gouache, for that matter, but acrylic does it on a whole nother level, just because it's got its own difficulties with it, but is that you can do a glaze, quasi-glaze over a darker area with a lighter color and glaze it lighter. With oils, you have to wait a long time to do that. With gouache, you run the risk of it reliquifying, which I can do a little bit and give that effect, but the way you can do that with acrylic is really, really cool, man. That's right. S. Davis. Hello, artist. Hi, S. Davis. You never know who these people are. Who could S. Davis be? I don't know. Nope. I just like art. There you go. What's up, S. Davis? How are you doing? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Welcome to the stream. Let me see here. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yeah. Shane's would be just a cat. Pappy. Yeah, happy birthday to Awesomer One. Awesome One's brother. There you have it, right? But yeah, when you're doing this kind of work, a big thing that I think is fun about it is just when you're working with a particular type of media, using it and understanding what it can do that other stuff can't. So I try never to use one media like gouache to be acrylic, and I try never to use acrylic like it's gouache, because I want to get the most out of what I'm using. And I'm still going to draw things. Like when it comes to my paintings, I'm a very draw-heavy painter. I really do draw with the brush as opposed to doing these big sort of chunkier paintings, which I've done in the past, and I can do that. But I like to noodle a little bit with the detail. I'm going to try something, because as the value shifts in the painting, sometimes I need to adjust the gamma a little bit, just so you guys can see the color a little clearer. I think somewhere in there might be good. Now my hand might turn purple or something, from doing that, but that'll help you guys to see some of the subtlety of the color if I just give that a little bit of a boost. But yeah, I mean, Eric and I were talking last night about, the whole making art thing and how you evolve. And he goes, I'm just at a point in my life where everything I'm doing, I feel like it's really strong and it's really coming on, and I'm just in a groove. And I cannot tell you how much that's been the case ever since I did my first art book, which I know some of you guys backed that tier, and we'll be getting that soon. The first art book, I just went, oh wait, this is the first thing I've ever received in the mail of my work, whether, all the professional comic jobs or art jobs, where I was like, I'm so proud of this. Like, my artwork is finally there. Let me see here. Oh, this just in. While today is Shane's birthday, it is always celebrating the return of Malin. That's right. Yes, that's right. And henceforth, it will be known as John Day. Thank you. Happy John Day, Shanth. Happy John Day to you, KSSS. And happy birthday as well, my brother. It is great to see you here in the chat. I appreciate you being here, my friend. Yeah, we're just having fun, man. We're doing things today, man. It's gonna be a fun stream tonight. So, yeah, we all miss John. John is working like a machine as always, and we're all benefiting from the work that he laid down. We were talking last night about the Malin method a bit. Michael and I were talking about it, and how you need somebody who is going to just kind of lay it all out and say, this is what you need to do. And you can agree or you can disagree about it, but at least you have something to work off of that probably works. And in my experience, everybody who has applied that method, who has had either the talent, the ability to be successful in this space, has been able to do it. Now, it's if it gets to be a metric about like how successful someone thinks they deserve to be, I can't really have that conversation, because it's not something I ever think about. I just do my best and work incredibly hard. But I know it's changed me and affected what I'm able to do 100%, Of course, always a pleasure to remember. Did Malin finally step back out into the light from his cave? I don't know. You never know. And most of us will step out for a second and then we may scurry back in. You never know. But yeah. I think it's good, man. I think it's good for John, because I know he's probably got so much stuff going on. I remember when I was talking to Eric, I was going, yeah, I bet you're seeing a lot of John, because Eric letters a lot of John's stuff. So yeah, it's for Eric. It's like John never stops streaming, because he's got private streams with John all the time. To go over all the work they're doing. Okay, yeah, that here is where I wanted it to be. Now we're getting there. This is gonna be a sick painting, especially when I get the hair all over this thing, in terms of like the long, like sort of single strands that cut across and all the detail, man. Yeah, Bateau, me gusta. There you go. Let's see. Malin has been trying to get into shape. Yeah, when he returns tonight, has a suntan, we'll know if the weight loss was natural or if he went to Brazil. Yep, he might have gotten a nip tuck. You never know. It's never too early to get a nip tuck, I guess, and to get on that. I say. But yeah, John. I was looking at this old video I cut together of John, and I think it was post-COVID. He went on Pete Cimetti's show and kind of did the breakdown of his career and his, the cancellation crap or whatever you want to call it. It seems like so bizarre. And just, people coming at him and saying he shouldn't be able to do stuff, and how he was still so nervous to do Jawbreakers with your boy Zach. And by the way, if you haven't backed it yet, Battle Brick Road is the first link in the description here for this video. And Battle Brick Road has an alternate cover that's reunites John Malin with the colorist on Jawbreakers. So it's a little bit of, Comicsgate history and lore and legends in one thing, I usually hiss and curse the sun when I'm forced to socialize. These days, it burns me. I know. I'm with you, my friend. I will say I'm getting, actually I shouldn't say I'm getting more comfortable at it. I just do it these days. Like I go out and I have to do what I do. But it is tricky. I'd rather come on here and hang out with you guys because I can kind of paint and talk and be at my desk, which is where I tend to live, is here at the desk. There we go. Get those nice little detail lines in there, because that's what people are paying for when they back. It's a weird thing, but my attitude is make sure it's better than my best art book when I do a comic book. It's already got more paintings. It's already got, all of that other stuff. But I just want to make sure the art is great for you guys, because I'm aware that is one of my chief selling points is my painting. So I thank you guys, and I try to make sure I always deliver on that. There we go. Let's get a nice shadow in there. Yeah, it's coming together. Alrighty. Let's see, Battle Brick Road, John Malin cover right there in the chat. Thank you so much, Groomsman. Much love, brother. And I gotta say, I think John's compositions, he was talking to me on a stream. I don't know exactly what stream it was or when, but he was talking to me about Wills being one of his big influences, and we were talking about Stone that was done with Wills, Brian Haberlin, and those cats. And I will tell you, now that I see it, it's such a great, aspect to his work, that influence. I mean, because Wills was awesome. So, yeah, I'm a fellow Wills fan. And so if you're a Wills fan, and if you like Wills, if you like folks like Travis, if you like folks like, of course, Rob, too, is in there, you're going to love Malin's stuff. But it's Malin's. I know Malin's work whenever I see it. It's just, and I feel like I got to know his work even better the more Comicsgate stuff he's done. I actually think that, contrary to what was once said by some people who will remain nameless, and it's just, let's not give them any air, who claimed that people come into Comicsgate and they're not as good as they were outside of, that is just completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. That dude is crazy, man. Oh, man. Trying to crack my back there. There we go. That's a little better. Shanth, it's Halloween time. Question: I rewatched The Exorcist. Do I suffer through Exorcist 2 or just jump to the ninth configuration and then Exorcist 3? That is a tough call. My big rule of thumb with any of that stuff is, if it's going to increase your enjoyment and you're going to have a good time, do it. If you're one of those people who goes, it's a marathon, so I got to go all the way through, do it. But if you don't want to, always feel free to skip it. When I'm watching the Karnstein trilogy in the Hammer horror movies, I always skip Lust for a Vampire or whatever it is, because it's such a dreadful movie. I can't take it. Like, I'm always watching the first one and the third one. It's rough. Yeah, suffer through it. Do that damn thing. S. Davis coming in with that. So, that's another perspective, man. Let your conscience guide you. If S. Davis has got you convinced, then do it, my friend. You got this. Either way, we know you can handle it. We know you're strong enough. That is never in doubt. And S. Davis is telling you, I know you're strong enough. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about here. That's what we do. We do what we do. Craziness. We love you, maniacs. You know that. It's going to be so fun when those books finally come on some giant pallet. My wife was going, so are we going to have any room in our house once those come? I go, I don't think so. I think we're in deep trouble. But once those books come, I'm going to have a blast sending those out to you guys and us making labels for each and every one of those packages. It's going to be so much fun. Because I know it's a ton of work, obviously, but that's what we've been doing it for. So many people, so many people who've backed and supported this book and have, because there's, obviously the people who were fans of mine and bought the first two art books back in the day, but so many of you guys have never even seen the quality of paper that comes from our printer and the stuff that they do. So I think you guys are going to really love this book when you get it. I mean, you're going to love the object of the book let alone hopefully what's in it. I hope you love that too. Let me see here. You know what that means for building? Well, yes, exactly. You know what that means? Fort building with comic boxes. Amen. When are you supposed to get the books? So they are printing them right now, and their process is they notify me when they've got everything boxed and printed and ready to go, and then we pay them the second half, which is money. And so I've been waiting. I checked my email. I'm gonna send them. I try not to bother them too much because one, they're professional. They got me when I asked for a second a second proof. They're like, "We'll have it to you, in 2 days. Like we're gonna build this out with paper variations, things like that." So I know they're a professional outfit. That's why they charge what they charge. But I'm gonna probably reach out to them because I never want people to rush. Because I want to make sure that the finish that they do want it is good and but this is, like I said, I mean, when they got me this proof lickety split, because I said I want to get this printing as soon as I can, and I need the colors to be correct. So when they got me this proof, I mean, guys, oh my lord, all these paintings that you guys have watched me paint over the last couple of years, think of how satisfying it's going to be to get them and be able to look at them and hold the artwork in your hand and have it look as good as it did when you were seeing it, on stream. Like oh my gosh, that moon, this is not a big painting, by the way. That's my finger for scale. Okay. This is it reduced on this page, but look at the subtlety of those blues and oranges. That is hard enough to paint, and making sure it's reproduced well is one of the most difficult things in the world. For me as an artist, like that's the last hurdle, is making sure it reproduces well. But if I show this on stream, one of the things I will tell you is this looks exactly like on stream, like when you're seeing it with this camera, as the painting does. It's the same. Like people look at it and go, "Oh my gosh, it's like I'm looking at the paintings." And I sent Eric one of my art books for context. I can't show that. There's nudity. Speaking of Malin, there's his name in the book. But people who have seen these paintings, I want you to get this book and be able to look at these paintings and look at them up close and really enjoy what's happening. And it's weird to see them. It's weird to see them reduced down. It's crazy to see how these. Whoa, that almost fell out because it's not bound yet here. But it's really crazy to see these things reduced down. But you can see the detail is just going to be sick in this thing. I mean, you guys are gonna have a blast with it, because that's why we did it, man. And it's like, the logos from the YouTube channel, man, but this is what it is, I kind of did the paintings. I think I did the paintings at, I forget what the scale was, offhand, and I'm not getting out a measuring tape, but, I was able to, they reduced to such a degree when you got them on the page that the detail was even tighter, and I didn't know how substantial it was going to be. Let's see here. What is the rough percentage of how much you reduced it? Oh, wow. Jeez. That's a toughie. It's 11, and so I think it's coming down from, actually, you know what? This is the same height, so let me just see. With the gutter, on the counting on both the originals and on the book, it was being reduced down from 15 to 11. So it's, let me see here, what would that be? More like maybe it's a 20 to 30, well, not really 30%, but it's maybe 28% reduced. So it's a pretty big, substantial change, man. Yeah, exactly. Damn it, man, I'm an artist, not a mathematician. Yeah, it's Terrifier. I was just listening to Grim Life Collective talk about that the other day. Those movies. Let me see. Yeah, it's the quality of it and the detail is really come on, man. That stuff is crazy. So I cannot wait to see, see all the books get printed and shipped to me. It's gonna be cool. And then I'm gonna sell when I do the Second Chance campaign. That'll have the art book version of it, which is just the art and also second printing, depending on. The first printing of the book is, if people want to get it, if there's some extras after I ship them all out to you guys, I'm going to be selling that for a lot more money. So all of you guys who got in on the ground floor, And you've earned it. You've earned that price point, as I'm sure you're aware. There we go. It's always about, I was painting off frame, it's always about the mixture of those warms and cools, when you're doing this stuff, and trying to make sure you get that look you're going for, because someone's going to have this, in their home or in a frame, and you want to make sure it's something that they're proud to have in their house, and it's a conversation piece. The same thing with the originals, the gentleman who bought the CYBERFROG trading card original artwork, he's a true collector. He wanted to have the tracing paper that I used to transfer it, the sketch I had, and a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, that's the stuff. That's what it's for. That's why we do all this stuff, is to make it happen. About 73%. All right, well, it's going down. It's about, it's 73% to scale. You're right. Yeah, it's like so what does that put us at? It's 20. Gosh, am I tired? 27%. You're right. Yeah. Wow. Dang. Yeah, I saw it a while back, and I can appreciate what was done. The movie was kind of thin. I do like the success of it. There you go. Yeah, I like to watch the horror movie genre from time to time because of what independent filmmakers and smaller creators can do in it and what they can achieve. It's a genre where you don't need a star, and you just need a really great understanding of the mechanics of horror, and you can do amazing things. So that's one of the things where I think a lot of independent work comes out of the horror genre. I know that was the same for Warren Publishing, and that was the same thing for EC Comics, is they found a home and a place where they could compete head-to-head with the big two, because they didn't have superhero properties or that kind of thing. And yeah, it's a great genre. I just love Halloween, and I love this season, so it was a natural thing for me to end up doing. But yeah, I love watching. The Grim Life Collective is my favorite, one of my favorite YouTube channels. I watch it a lot while I work because those guys are a lot of fun, and they go to movie sites, and they, I think they're in England right now. They went to Boris Karloff's, grave site. So very cool stuff. Look at how that red wash, just when you see the transparency of it, it hasn't dried yet, but look at what it's doing in terms of the color there. Just gives it that nice little pop, which is so fun to see and stuff. I'm kind of more of a witch kind of guy. Yeah, that was a really great flick. Love that. That, to me, that's the best thing he's ever made. It's a great flick. Really nicely done. And yeah, I'm just trying to think of all of the movies I like that are in this genre. So many movies I want to watch. My favorite movie that I watch every year for Halloween is Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, because I used to try to get home as early as I could from trick-or-treating to make sure I could catch Disney's Halloween Treat, which had the, Bing Crosby narrated beautiful perfection Sleepy Hollow short. And I loved that so much. And I think Tim Burton did just a really great, fun Halloween version of that story. And it's a great R-rated Headless Horseman. So yeah, big fan of that. Got to watch that every Halloween without fail. And then my kids and I, we all watched, I think it was last year or the year before, we watched The Haunting of Hill House, which to me is a masterpiece. If you haven't seen The Haunting of Hill House, check it out. It's intense. If you are faint of spirit in terms of, heavy stuff, family dynamics, addiction, abuse, all that kind of stuff, it's not for you. But if you've had... I should say, if that stuff is upsetting to you, but I would say this is that I think it's got such an uplifting and hopeful end for a show that is utterly terrifying and scary in all the right ways. I think that miniseries, that Netflix series, is a masterpiece. I thought Bly Manor was pretty solid, but I think that Hill House is a classic. No doubt, it's an utter classic. So yeah, The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. It is. I love the original The Haunting by Wise directed, but Robert Wise directed. But holy cow, The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix it's about grief, loss. But again, it's weird. I saw these guys who review shows that I watch every now and again, and when it ended and it got to the end of the story, the gal on that show said that was like the best show ever. Like, it was just really powerful, man. Yeah. Let's see. Andrew Kevin Walker wrote Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. He also wrote another favorite movie of mine, Seven. There you go. Yeah, and I think he also wrote, what else did he write? He wrote something else too, I was thinking of. Oh, that one. We watched The Haunting of Hill House. It's really good. Yeah, the child actors in it were great. All the cast was great. I love Henry Thomas. I grew up on E.T., so I'm ride or die with Henry Thomas. He did a great job in that acting wise, but man, did that show covered so many things and did them well. That's the really kind of impressive thing to me, is how well it did how much justice it did the subjects it tackled. And even talking about things like parenting and the difficulty of your children growing up and things like that I was like, whoa, you guys are swinging for the fences, man. Everybody got it done. Oh, he wrote 8mm with Nicolas Cage. That's what I was thinking of. Wow. Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's weird. You look at artists over their careers and you can see so many incredible things that they've done and people they've worked with. Let's see here. All right. We'll get that in there. Let me see here. I'm going to get in a little highlight right here. I just want to make sometimes some of these marks that I'll make in here are just little painting notations, so I can just kind of see where I want to put things when I go into the final. So I'm able to get in like a middle value in there that will, allow me to get that color pop to happen. And I always have my werewolf teeth werewolf teeth a little yellow, even though before they turn into a werewolf, most of the actors who play the before werewolf don't have yellow teeth. So it's kind of odd that you would have, those sort of darker teeth without. Although I guess maybe it's just it's all a part of the mystery. There we go. Just getting that detail in there. And just, the thing about detail, it's the same thing when I'm working in digital for Spring Ball. You've got to set that stuff up or set up those contrast moments by putting in those middle tones. And I like to work by putting in the really dark tones, then putting in those middle tones and highlights last. So I try to kind of give myself a value scale when I'm working to put this stuff together. There we go. And when it dries and you start to see it, or when it starts to dry, because it dries quick and it shifts, you'll see what I mean. It'll get there. My man Diesel, how are you doing, brother? It is great to see you. How have you been, man? Do you like to play with oil? Never tried. Always acrylics and watercolor. No, I don't do oils. My brother, my studio mate, does that, and he's amazing. But oils have always just, my brain can't go there. And I'm like, God, I can't take the fumes either. Even when it's odorless, it gives me a headache. But yeah, man, it's crazy. I love oils, though. I admire people who do it. Anna does great stuff with oils. If you're not following Anna, I don't know what her painting one is. I think it's still like that Star Wars girl painting, or art by Anna, maybe. But check out that link. It's great. Oh, wow. By the way, I clicked on that. By the way, Bud Root's 18 by 24 original 4 Lilith pages are up on the core draft campaign. Let me say this, guys. Bud Root is a legend. There's a lot of people that how do I word this? There's a lot of people that people say, oh, who would you like to have do a cover or do artwork for your stuff? And I'm always trying to think of who I would want. Bud Root is definitely somebody I would love to do a Nosfero and Laurel piece. Oh, and a werewolf piece too. A Greylock, Laurel, and Nosfero piece, because he does outstanding werewolves. Man, does Bud Root do good werewolves. I mean, that guy he's next level. Oh, yeah, we checked out those pages yesterday. They're amazing. I bet they are. Good morning, Michael, or good afternoon, is it? Or morning? Morning, there. Yeah, Bud is a great guy, too. Yeah, we talked about that, Marcus. You met him at a convention a while back, and a few times you've met him at conventions, I think you were telling me. But yeah, those pages, oh my gosh, he paints large scale. They're beautiful, man. Love Bud Root stuff. I got the Bud Root art book because Andy did a stream showing it off. And I know him and Bud go way back. And as I've recently had a chance to tell Andy, we go way back because he did the cover on my first pro job. And actually, I had him on here to talk about Core Draft a while back when it launched too, for that matter. So yeah, oh man, I could talk about Bud Root stuff and Andy Smith stuff all day, man. Love those cats. Good folks. Good people, man. There we go. There we are. Just get those highlights in there. Because then I can sort of start to build up the edges and get those darks in there. Morning, I've been quietly listening for an hour since 5 a.m. Yeah, it sounds like you had one of the nights I had. Those not a lot of sleep nights, right? And yeah, it's what you got to do, man. It's what you got to do. Holy cow, it's wild, isn't it? Let's see here. Yeah, absolutely. Was that a loose Norm Macdonald reference? It might have been. It might have been. Norm Macdonald lives on in me. Such a legend, man. Norm Macdonald was awesome. Just an amazing dude. Amazing dude. I was watching his comedians in cars or whatever, and with Jerry Seinfeld, and I thought it was such a brilliant interview when he's talking about his approach to things and what he does, and I'm glad we have a great record of his work. Just incredible. There we go. I remember watching him on Saturday Night Live back in the day, and just he was just in his own he was in his own category. It was Dennis Miller, and then it's almost like, and I say this with love, we had a bunch of substitute teachers a little bit, and then you got Norm Macdonald, and he really made it his own. Rubbed some people the wrong way, but he got it done. There it is. Now we're starting to get it. Do you see what I mean? How it starts to just kind of come into shape? Yeah, he was my favorite. Yeah, he's outstanding. Yeah. Yeah, Michael Bancroft sleeps too much. That could be what it is. What's up, KSS, says Michael Bancroft. Yes, indeed. The Lucent 2 Painted Death, guys, back it. There's so much great stuff there. There's so much to back. We talked about the shirts last night, but yes, indeed. And happy John Day. Yeah, it is John Day, and to you, too. Yeah, I loved his segments there, too. It was great. Yeah, he did some great stuff. Really left an amazing legacy of comedy and of insight. And again, it's rare you get those guys who are on that level to talk about their what they do and because they tend to be very cagey as far as that goes. But I think when Jerry and him went out to talk, even though he still was, they feel more comfortable when they're with comedians they can trust. It's the same thing with artists and people who put in work and know about the deadlines and know about getting to a high level of excellence in a particular field. There's more to it that you don't get to talk about with people a lot because very few people understand those nuances. Like you can't. This is why I was saying that one of the hardest things about learning art is when you get to the intermediate stage, and you want to go from the intermediate stage and you're going to try to get to the good stage. But the better you are at making your work and the more skill you have, the more skilled and articulate the people who talk to you about your work have to be to improve. Like you really, giving, how do I put it? There's a certain level of critique that you can get where it's like, if someone's like, I just don't really care for it, I don't like it, doesn't mean you can't say what you do and don't like. I mean, I've never believed that's a thing. I mean, people vote with their wallets. But if you're trying to move your work to a very high level, you need to be able to talk to people who are operating at a level that's either equal and better than you in certain ways or better than you in a lot of ways, who can explain it. And that's the tricky part. When you meet artists who are unable to explain things, it's almost impossible to learn from them because they're like, I just do it. If someone's a natural with color theory and painting, oftentimes they can't explain it very well. It's a weird thing. So we need people like that, Yeah, Norm's moth joke was the pinnacle of his brand of comedy. 100%, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys like Stephen Wright. My team is the Dragons. That drawing would look badass on a shirt. Los Angeles Dragons. Right on, man. Yeah, I love doing stuff like that. I love doing stuff. I haven't painted a dragon in Gosh, I haven't painted a dragon in forever, I think. That's wild. That just made me think of that, Diesel. Because I know I've painted some dragons. I've been commissioned to do some. It's crazy, man. Yeah, that's subversive ideology. Yeah, wish us luck in Florida. Very good luck, Diesel. We try to win Division 1 title next weekend. Diesel, Godspeed. God bless you guys. And good luck this upcoming week, man. Grimbergers, yeah, it was huge in the 90s. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, brother. Diesel, I appreciate that, man. God bless you. Thank you so much, man. You guys are the best. What can I say? What can I say? All you fantastic people here. Let me see here. All right, guys. So we're at 2 hours. I got to get ready. I got to go. I got to do some workout appointment with the missus that we got to go to. Oh, God, yeah, I could totally do that. Yeah, I could totally do that, you know. What is it? You know, if you've got the dime, I've got the time. I like to lift that from the Bloodhound Gang. If you've got the crime, we've got the time from back in the day. 3, 2, 1 contact for you old school people. But let me say this, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you guys for liking the stream, for supporting it, for being here. I got an appointment with the missus to do all of the fun financial stuff we get to do. And I thank you guys for being here, for supporting everything. And hopefully it's brought something positive to your day. And you have a good one today. So let's do it. And wish Shane Davis a happy birthday and a happy John Day. And KSSS a happy birthday as well. And we'll just keep doing what we're doing. Yeah, waking up with Enjeti. That's right. When Enjeti hasn't even woken up with Enjeti yet. He's still out of it. But thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Diesel. Yeah, you guys have a great game, man. Go there and crush it. You guys are going to do great. Yeah, I didn't know it was so strong as a child. I just knew it was a form of wine. Yeah, there you go. It would work as a sticker. Yeah, I got a werewolf sticker, man. That's ready to rock. Yeah, man. That's what we do. Thank you guys so much. Everybody have a wonderful day. Timmy Mello, have a wonderful day, my friend. Much love. Ciao, Shanth in chat. Yes, indeed, guys. I will see you guys soon. And so here are my channel members. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you guys. And as I always like to say, speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and most importantly, peace, because that is what Shanth means. That's what my name means. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you soon.